My name is Jeff Hoagland, and I'm joined here by Kent Ketter, and welcome to the Sapphire portion of our Scars of War set review. If you've watched my stream before, you know I've often described myself as a simple man who only wants to do one thing, and when you have absolute power, you can do that one thing as much or as little as you want. For the absolute power, for the low cost of 8 resources and 3 Sapphire thresholds, you can draw not 1, not 2, not 3, but any number of cards. I really hope there's just like a button on the UI when you play this card that says like cards in deck. You just like click that button and it just like pops up the number of cards, because that's how many cards I would like to draw when I play this card. How many are there? Give them to me.
Look, I want it to start when you cast absolute power. It starts at 0. You can then click cards in deck and then let you click -1, and then
no, stop it. That absolute power corrupts. It's absolute. It's not power -1, Kent. It's absolute. Okay.
I guess maybe I would be able to resist this. No, I'm kidding. All of them +1. I want a +1 button. All cards in deck. Where's the +1 button?
So there's probably going to be some kind of fun deck in standard with this. I don't know if it's going to be competitive, but I couldn't talk about the Sapphire cards in this set and not include this card. So
I'm so excited.
Super pumped.
Start searching.
Almost certainly going to be some kind of combo deck in Immortal, but I'm going to be working on them both. I'm sure Ali Andrazi just fell out of his chair when he read this card, and he's going to be working on stuff too. So excited at any rate. On to real cards that'll see standard play.
No, time out. We get to search for keyword. You get to search for cards in hand and see what happens. There's probably not a lot, but I'm excited.
Right. So consult the Talon here, which has
sorry.
more cards that draw cards. So if drawing any number of cards is too much pressure, you get paralyzed by choice. Consult the Talon is the card for you. This is a card with way less decisions. It's just 7 cost, double Sapphire, has mobilize. And the importance of this keyword being here multiple times. Again, mobilize means you can exhaust a troop when you play this to reduce its cost by 1, or by 2, sorry. This means if you have 3 troops in play, you can consult the Talons for just a single resource and draw 3 cards. This is sweet. This is something McBombus is looking to do probably.
I would agree. McBombus is probably right up there with it. While I don't think Sapphire Wild decks are necessarily, you could see some Dreadling mid-range decks wanting to access this. That seems a little counter, or not the intended design space. But yeah, I'm
sure.
stoked for this one.
A lot of times in the mid to late game, Dreadlings are just running into blockers anyways. So you might as well put them to some kind of use.
Do you want to deal 1 damage, or would you like 3 cards? That's not a hard choice, actually. So I just love the owl fits.
Next up, we have here a great use of Hex's design space in the Copycat.
Oh, wow.
This is important to note. It costs 0 resources to play out, but it has a 5 Sapphire threshold requirement. So unless you have generated 5 Sapphire thresholds in some way, shape, or form, generally by having played 5 Sapphire shards, you're not going to be able to play this card, even though it costs 0 resources. And it says when you deploy this, you copy another target troop and then revert that troop. So this card, the floor on it is copy my opponent's bomb, and now our bombs can probably trade in combat. But I didn't spend any resources to do that, so I still get to hold up denies and verdict of the ancient kings and whatever other quick actions that I have.
What I'm really wondering is where we can abuse the revert ability, maybe on some of our own creatures. If there's any one shots and the like on some of our own creatures that roll, getting the free ability into holding up counter magic might set up for some immortal combo decks and the like. So it's a really interesting card. I would say I'd like to see some sort of alternate art, but this art is this Oni.
Oh, there's an AA. Look at the complete spoiler.
Yeah, right. I just love this cat image, and I know it's not a cat, it's supposed to, but this cat demon. Okay,
but anyways, another thing to mention too is Runar Hierophant, still legal for a while. This card can revert your opponent's Runar Hierophant and then be much larger than theirs, so things to think about. Next up, we have Deny, this is very obviously the counter magic is rotating out. This is our staple 3 cost interrupt. Talk to the hand crocodile, because the face is having none of it. So this is just good, clean, interrupt target card for 3. And it has a line of text here. When a troop enters play under your control, if this is in your hand, it gets -2 cost this turn. So, in Immortal, this card sounds sweet with quick Dark Hearts. You like play your Dark Heart on 6, your Dark Heart hits play, and then you can deny something too with your 1 remaining resource. Brown Fox Scout, still standard and Immortal, obviously. So, like, on turn 3, you can, like, flash in Brown Fox Scout and deny something.
I think the simple ability to have the floor be, interrupt this for 3 mana is just fantastic. I also really am going to try to line up as many Crocosaur denies.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, it's flavorful, right? There's a crocodile on the picture. You're just like, stop, dinosaur. Mm-hmm. Stop in the name of fight. Speaking of interrupts, we have an interrupt that's not really an interrupt in Dingle. And I would just like to start with the flavor text on this card. We don't talk about it a lot, but the flavor text on this card reads, "You should have just killed me." So, Dingle, for 2 cost quick action, transforms target troop on the chain into a Dingler. So, this is better and worse, so it's not strictly in either case than just interrupting a troop. Mm-hmm. It's better in the sense that if your opponent were to return that troop to their hand from their crypt, say with like a Kagalichu activation or a Rotten Rancor, now they have an 0-1 instead of their original powerful troop. It's worse in the sense that it doesn't just send it to the crypt, they're going to have an 0-1 that can chump block. But a lot of your decks that are playing Dingle probably don't care about an 0-1. This is probably upside a lot of the time.
I'm definitely interested to see it try to offset some of the larger scrounge abilities.
Yep.
So we'll see, right? Because they would pay the scrounge cost. They'd have this souped up paw, and you're just kind of
exactly.
Hey,
like they scrounge their paw, you could Dingle it, they don't get any effect from it.
That's just 10 of 10 right there. Or just its floor of no massive.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna asterisk that. This actually doesn't say revert the troop and transform it into a Dingler.
Right.
So I'm actually, now that I'm reading this, I'm pretty sure that if they scrounge a paw, they're gonna have a Dingler that says when this enters play, destroy target card. So we'll double check it. Like maybe that's for the Q&A for the Hexy, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So that actually makes it where we're not just completely getting the no. You don't get any of your abilities, which is good.
Next up, speaking of Dinglers, we have the dreaded Dread End, a 5-cost basic action for double Sapphire Threshold that reverts and transforms each troop into a Dreadling.
Kills them in turn.
Extinction is rotated out. We needed some kind of powerful sweeper effect in Standard. Sapphire often felt like I had to splash for Clash of Steel or Extinction a lot of the time. And with Dread End, I feel like I'm allowed to play whatever supplemental second shard I want because I have this powerful sweeper effect.
Yeah, Dread End will also work nicely if you dread in some of your own, then maybe use them the Talon, but it seems like a great way to, because they're going to lose all theirs at the end of your turn, right? All Dreadlings are sacrificed at end of turn.
Yep.
Okay, and it's I'm excited for this one.
Oh, geez. You know what? This is I'm glad you just said the word Dreadling to me, because every time I have read this card up until this point, I had Dingler in my head.
Ha!
We just looked at Dingle. This
is better. It's better than that because they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah, they're actually just gone. Okay. Out. Yep. Okay.
That's what I'm here for, Jeff.
This card's great regardless, but I don't know why I had just like this is mass polymorph Dingle for both sides, but no, they're Dreadlings. They're definitely 1/1s with speed, and you sack. Okay, yep. So card's great regardless, but I definitely just made the connection that actually, and I've read this card so many times.
I now you need to have a counter for stream. Anytime you dread in someone to win the game, like for some reason you line up dread end kill you. We gotta chalk that one up. Like I think the one time you do it, that's another YouTube video in itself with some music.
All right, next up, speaking of Dreadlings, we have the Dread Suit Omega, which is the Dwarven robot that says, while this is in your hand, it has -1 cost for each Dreadling you control. And it's self-enabling. Whenever a troop you control readies, summon a Dreadling.
Wait, what? So, what I'm hearing, just to understand this, if we were to dread end a
Yes.
wide board,
Correct.
we then
You can
omega
play
for the
this
same
for free.
amount.
Yep.
So if there is a Sapphire creature deck that already main Dutes Dread Suit, and you wanted to board in Dread Ends, we would start just completely like breaking open the swings.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's cool. I'm pretty excited for that. I love this. This is just flavorful and awesome. And I think if you cast this for like 5, you're
And you know what? I think this might actually push the dwarf aggro archetype over the top. There's the 1-cost 1/1 that whenever you play an artifact, you generate a dreadling.
right.
So
right.
like if you have like played that and you're ready with this in your hand, it makes a dreadling, and this helps put dreadlings in the crypt for that card to turn it into a 1-cost 6/6. So
do we maintain the 1/1 in Ruby that deals the damage whenever artifact comes into play?
I'm not sure offhand. That'll be
Okay,
I'll
but
double
I
check
mean,
that.
if you do 2 Dread Suit Omegas and 3 Creep, like you see, like,
correct. Yep. And not to mention, like, then your dreadlings are enabling your Lasgar's Vengeance. Yeah, this card's fantastic. I think it's gonna go in a lot of different decks. I'm excited.
Stoked for it, and you get to kill people with like the massive Gundam of your dreams.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Except for the appropriate IP, excuse me.
Yeah. So anywho, next up we have here the Typhoon Skyshaper, which is a 4/5 for 6 double Sapphire threshold, but it's a quick troop. It says mobilize and flight. It says put up to 1 exhausted troop you control into your hand.
Oh, so like the troop that you exhausted to mobilize it can then.
Yeah, you know the troop that they targeted with their hero's downfall. You then
What?
exhausted it to mobilize and then
What?
returned it to your hand. So
No way.
This is a game-ending
4
threat
mana.
all on its own. It's quick.
Yeah.
Like its stats are a little bit medium. Like 4/5 flying for 6 is kind of meh, but like you factor in quick, and then you factor that like it can pick up something and save it. It seems plenty reasonable.
Yeah, I would evaluate this. I think this is a card where I would evaluate it. I think I look at it as you always are going to be casting it like with the mobilize cost.
Yep.
I mean, yes, I know you're supposed to look at cards in worst case scenario, but I just don't feel like you're going to hit that actual like, well, I guess I'll just flash in this 6-cost 4/5. But
Yep. And imagine this in a deck with Deny and like Brown Fox Scout, where like you're like picking a Brown Fox Scout back up, and then like you have Brown Fox Scout with Deny, just like a lot of play to it, versatility, flooping around there.
interested to see more pressure coming out of the Sapphire creature-based strategies.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Next up, we have a solid reprint here. Verdict the Ancient Kings, interrupt target non-troop card. Just worth a mention, sticking around for another standard season. Happy to have it. Just quality card all around. After that, we have the Warp Steel Shard Sworn. And so pretty innocuous at a glance. It's a 2-cost 1/1 with a minor socket, but it has a pretty important line of text there. Deploy, summon a Depth Crawler. Depth Crawler is a 1/1 Venom with a minor socket.
Yep.
So in the Underworld Matter deck, this is a 1-cost. This is basically a dual race card for 2 resources. It gives you 2 power and 2 toughness over 2 different bodies. You can have some kind of socket in here. Like if you're in Ruby, you could put a Valor in this guy. You could put create Dreadlings in him if you're just in Sapphire. So he enables your malevolent whatever that card is to
malevolent machinations.
Your machinations do at least 4 points of damage after your Warp Steel Shard Sworn comes down. And then remember, your Death Crawler is socketed, but it's going to have a random socket gem in it, so you won't be able to control that. But I think this card is reasonable.
Agree. I'm yeah, wow. This is just a super interesting one. Excited to play with it. I will reserve any further takes.
Subtly powerful, I feel like, is the great way to put it.
Yes, fantastic. And at the uncommon typing, you get to take a spin at no major platinum cost. Sorry, I think that's a sweet one, or a sweet mention for this one.
Next up, we have the Webborn Apostate, which is a 2-cost 2/1 Venom Warlock that deploy. Each opposing champion loses a charge, and you gain a charge for each charge lost this way. So Subtle Striker is rotating. That card's going to be no longer standard legal, and this card kind of slots in naturally to fill that void. Other thing worth noting, because he's a Venom, he'll enable that blood that Blood Sapphire Venin Shard along with some of his other Venin friends. So I think this card's plenty reasonable. I don't think you're going to see this as a 4 of, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of your 1-ofs that supplements your Underworld Crusader.
Yeah, nothing too flashy on this one on the upside. I noticed they specifically do not give it any combat keywords, so they're really valuing this this losing a charge. I think it'll be an interesting one when we compare it to Subtle Striker, because Subtle Striker you have to spend a removal spell on this. There's no question.
Yep.
This
guy generates a little bit of advantage, though. In addition to putting them down, he puts you up. So we'll see. Subtle Striker was good enough to fill a 1-of slot. I think he might be 2, but I wouldn't be too surprised if I'm wrong.
If any of the higher charge cost hero powers start looking, enticing, something like this is where, this is if your strategy is sitting around firing off your hero power, this is one of the few ways to, get that additional, not one of the few. This is one of other ways to get that charge going quickly. So it's a nice one. One small thing, Dingle. It takes care of business. Also known as Twilight Revenant. Sorry, didn't catch that one.
We did miss that one.
Yeah.
And that's our last Sapphire card of this set. As always, I'm Jeff Hoagland here with Kent Ketter. And if you're looking to buy any cards here from set 6 Cards of War, you can do so at hexprimal.com. You can use code Jeff5 to get 5% off of your order on all sorts of different Hex cards there. And stay tuned for the rest of our set 6 set review here on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out, folks.